Welcome to Airway Exchange, the podcast for empowering educators and inspiring future CRNAs, a new series of Beyond the Mask supported by AANA.
We're your host team. I'm Greg Collins.
I'm Nikki D'Amico.
I'm Erin Martin.
And I'm Louisa Martin. We're here to support the community of CRNA educators with conversations to explore, learn, and grow.
To pursue excellence in the evolving field of nurse anesthesia education.
And to champion our students and enrich the future of the profession.
This is Airway Exchange. Welcome back to Airway Exchange. I am joined today by my co-host, Greg Collins. Hey, Greg.
Good morning, Nikki. Happy to be here.
We are very excited to be recording this episode this year at the Mid-Year Assembly in Washington, D.C., and I am honored to have with us today two of our nurse anesthesiology residents, John Casto and Abby Poss, who are attending the meeting for the first time and also participants in the AANA Resident Mentorship Program. So welcome to the show, John and Abby. We'll let you say a quick hello here, and then we'll jump on in.
Hello. Happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Abby, tell us about where you're going to school, a little bit about your program.
Yeah, so currently I go to Edgewood University in Madison, Wisconsin. It's a brand new program. I'm currently just finishing up my second semester.
And you, John?
Yeah, good morning. I'm glad to be here as well. Quite an honor to be able to join in on this. I'm from Charleston, West Virginia. I go to the University of Charleston program. The program's been around a while, the affiliation with the hospital, but it just recently transitioned over from Marshall University to the University of Charleston. So it's kind of in its second year, but although it's a 50-year long program.
Great. And how far are each of you to graduation? Tell me one more time.
I graduate in August of 2028.
Great.
Same. August of 2028, just finishing up second semester. 3 finals left next week to finish up this second semester.
Not quite close enough to be counting days yet, but I bet you could tell me that if I asked. And you probably have a countdown timer on your phone somewhere that's suggesting such.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I can tell you we're 118 days away from second years.
Okay, I like it.
I do not. The less I know, the better sometimes.
I love it. So this is your first mid-year assembly with AANA. Had you been to other state meetings or any other AANA meetings before this, or is this your very first nurse anesthesia professional meeting?
I had the opportunity to be involved with WIANA in their lobby day in September. So it was really cool. We started the program, and within 2 weeks of starting school, we were at the state capitol lobbying for CRNAs. So we got into advocacy very early. And I just want to say a big thank you to WIANA for bringing me out here and sponsoring me. And they are very supportive of Wisconsin SRNAs.
Was that experience part of the reason why you were excited and maybe even applied to come to mid-year?
It was. I didn't realize the infrastructure behind advocacy and how we have a state lobbyist that we pay, and we have that infrastructure to get bills that we want passed in Wisconsin, and I was excited to see it on a federal level.
And how about you, John?
Same, yeah. I went to our spring meeting as well, WVANA. And even in a prior life prior to this, I've was on our state nurses association board, and so I've fortunately been able to see the importance of advocacy and political activity even before I was, brought into and given the opportunity to do anesthesia school. So, this is my second. Went to the WVANA meeting in the spring, and then fortunate enough to be here today.
I believe you've both explained to us why you were selected by your programs and nominated for this program. You may also have answered the rest of this question, but I'll just ask it here anyway. What was the primary driver that made you get excited about and say yes to this opportunity to come to the meeting and participate in this program?
As a SRNA, I wanted to be active and involved very early in advocacy to ensure the future of our profession and help shape and create the next generation of CRNAs and make sure that we have good contacts and that we're active and involved to keep CRNAs as a great profession.
I'll echo what Abby is saying. Fortunately, actually before I got into nursing, I was a firefighter, professional firefighter for a while. So that's actually whenever I first started in learning how important regulation is over what we do. And it's just about probably every job. So I was able to see firsthand how important it is to be active, to be involved, to build the relationships, and I mean, advocacy, with your state and federal legislature is very, very important. So that's why I wanted to be here and be a part of it, and will probably continue to be even throughout my career.
I would also say, as a nurse, we are uniquely positioned to be advocates, that we have that experience advocating for patients and seeing healthcare systems firsthand. And you are the front line, and especially after COVID. So I think having a seat at the table and being at the table when decisions are made is a very important thing.
That's a very keen observation, I think, that you brought out there. And I think it's almost the basis or the fundamental reasons why all of us kind of get involved. Thanks for pointing that out.
It's funny that we're talking about this because I told my wife whenever I got into anesthesia school, I'm not being involved with anything. I just want to be a CRNA. I'm not, and then here we are, first year, sitting in Washington.
The best laid plans, as they say.
Yes, sir.
So this is definitely different than the state meetings. You've both been to state level meetings, but not an ANA meeting before. This is, it's a lot. These meetings really, kind of jump you right in there. There was a period of time you got here before we even hooked up as mentors and mentees. That starts early in the program. But what were your first thoughts when, you got on site and you get in here and there's this sea of CRNAs around you and you're like, whoa, we're here.
I was really excited. It's been interesting. So I started didactic, and our first semester was half in person and half online. And so you went from working in a hospital where you were seeing a lot of people every day to kind of sitting in front of a textbook or a laptop for a long time. And so I think it was very cool to walk in and see the entire hotel with CRNAs. You ride on the elevator and it's all CRNAs from all over the U.S. and seeing how many voices come together and how we can deliver a message is fantastic. So it felt really big, but also with the mentorship program, it's a very tight-knit community. And once you know a few people, it's like 1 degree of separation. So everyone kind of knows everyone. So it made it feel smaller. And having those connections have been amazing.
It's interesting how small of a community it actually is. I mean, I've been here 2 days and already have numbers and made friends with folks from Wisconsin, Florida, California, Tennessee, Virginia, all over the map, Pennsylvania, and just how welcoming the CRNAs are, even as a first year. We kind of probably put ourselves in a position of inferiority just because of our role and where we're at in the program, and rightfully so. But to have these seasoned profession-leading CRNAs just be so welcoming, it's been a little bit overwhelming. And just even more so solidified why I'm here and want to be in this profession. It's been great.
Let's talk a little bit about the nuts and bolts of the program, because again, I talked a little bit about you got on site and you hadn't connected with your mentors yet. I'll disclose here that I was assigned as John's mentor. You're welcome to give your open and honest opinion, good, bad, and ugly. You don't have to feel like you have to praise your mentor here. But I'm curious if you could give people who might be listening who are interested in being involved in the program next year a little bit of your view of the nuts and bolts of it. What are all the pieces of this program and your experience with that part of it?
I highly recommend it. Coming into it, I wasn't sure. It could have went either way. Was what my thoughts are. We got this mentor thing. We could have met and then see you next year or in August in Boston or whatever. So it was really nice to. And anytime you sit down and break bread with somebody, it just starts the relationship off nice. So it was nice that we were able just to go to lunch to start off with. I told my wife yesterday. Well, I left the room at about 7:40 and didn't get back till 6:20. So that's how it's going. I said, Nikki is, she likes to keep going and keep busy, and I appreciate that too. So it's been great. I feel honored to be a part of the program. Highly recommend it to anybody that's thinking about coming and ever has the opportunity to do it.
I thought the welcome luncheon was an incredible opportunity. Most of the mentors that have decided to participate in this program are very involved in the ANA themselves and their state organizations. So it was very unique to sit in a room with residents and leaders from different state organizations and see all of the different things happening in all of the different states and also on a national level. And so my mentor is Jordy Emerson. She's from Michigan, and she's very involved in the Michigan State Coalition. So she was just awesome to sit and listen to, and having that experience from Wisconsin, kind of comparing. And it was just amazing how welcome everyone was and how excited they were for this next generation of residents. And it seemed to be very open, and they were ask me any questions. Here's my contact info. If if you're ever in this part of the country, let us know. And we have connections all over. And so it was just incredibly welcoming and incredibly uplifting. So it made me very excited to be a CRNA.
So the nuts and bolts of it are we all connected before the meeting. We got our assignments maybe 2 weeks before the meeting, but you guys were nominated by your programs, and we can only nominate one or two, in most circumstances. So we pick residents that we know are in great academic standing, who they, can afford to take the time out. We'll talk, I'm sure, in a little bit about you were right in the middle of exams, John. That's true for all of you guys. So we know that, you got to be able to study while in a hotel meeting and this kind of stuff. So we connected in advance just to, exchange contact information. We got on site, and then we had a nice welcome luncheon. The president of our association was there, which I always find, this one in particular, but all of our ANA presidents are just simply inspiring and just such great, normal, down-to-earth people. So, a lot of our ANA leaders, many of the board members or committee members were all, the mentors at these events, yes, are very experienced, often leaders, and have been in a variety of different roles. And everybody is just like, okay, let me get you around the room. And it's almost like a wedding. Like, okay, we got to hit every table.
Yes,
we got to go around and do the thing. So a nice meet and greet. And then really at that point, we're just going to spend the next, in this case, Sunday together and just make some recommendations about what sessions are great, which are the things not to miss. We, buddy up and kind of follow each other along for the day. So John's day yesterday included some time recording some of the Airway Exchange podcasts. So just making suggestions, and then a lot of it is helping you do the networking that you might not otherwise be comfortable doing.
Big
you wouldn't
piece for sure.
normally walk up to, I know who that is, but I don't necessarily feel comfortable. Although your experience with your first-timer badge seems to have been great, John. I don't know how much network I needed. He had folks coming up to him and giving him a hug. Hey, first time, this is so great. So we are all very exciting. You might think we were looking for somebody to come in and help us retire someday. And then the rest of it is just really, again, being a resource person, very informal. How can we help you? If you need anything, if you want to know, how do I get tickets to the PAC event? What is this PAC event? What do I do? What are the other activities? And then this may have been a good or bad thing for you, John, but I felt compelled to also give you some of the tips for how to survive a meeting in terms of things like wellness. These are exhausting. You're busy wall to wall. You don't always eat well. There's lots of social events. The food is, amazing, but probably different than what you would eat every day. There's, cocktails every event you go to. You got to think about those things. So I think a lot of the mentors kind of do the same thing. So I've talked for a long time here. Any thoughts on any pieces of that I just mentioned, those formal components, and which were the most meaningful for you?
I thought it was interesting that I'm from Wisconsin, but I got to have lunch with members from Illinois and Michigan too, and we had our Region 3 meeting, and that was really unique to see kind of an update on all of the different advocacy going on throughout the Midwest. And so you feel very connected to what's happening in your region, and it's a very collaborative environment as well. If something worked well in a different state, sometimes other states will take that playbook and use it elsewhere. So I was just impressed by how collaborative it is, both on the state level and on the national scale.
Yeah, I think I'll go back to the mentoring. It's especially coming from a career in the fire service where it's almost like a boot camp type of military type of orientation. They're trying to vet out who's the guy that's going to possibly drag me out of a burning building and let me go home to my family tomorrow. So it was intense. And as we all know, entering in as a new grad nurse can be intense in some environments as well. But this experience, completely different. We're being brought up as, baby SRNAs to already start mentoring. And to the point to where, as you know, Nikki, I met Joanna from California yesterday, who's here from California as an RN to learn more about this career, which was kind of overwhelming to me. I'm like, wow, that's, she's serious. She is going to be here one day. So I had an opportunity to talk to her for probably 30 minutes, and she just really picked my brain a lot. And so it's interesting. I'm like, here we are already mentoring. And then I went to another session, and that's what the message was. Even as first-year SRNAs, you're starting to mentor already. You're mentoring the RNs that you used to work with who are talking about going to anesthesia school. So it's been really nice. It just, the way the whole community just, hugs up around you, supports you, and glad you're here. Truly glad you're here. As you saw, like, people just first timer, and give you a big hug. And so it's been, it's nice. Very nice.
I think this is, you guys sharing your experiences, really what we intended to get across here, really as a plug for the educators that are listening to make sure that they're nominating and taking advantage of the mentorship program. But I also kind of want to lean on our listeners that may attend these meetings that don't serve as mentors, and how important that is to share your professional experience. We talked yesterday on a podcast about how many times we'd both been at this meeting and the really preponderance of experience that we have at dealing with this. And I think that our listeners need to understand that if you don't share that experience with those of you that are excited and up and coming, then sometimes that kind of goes away. And it's important. The hours and days and weeks and months that I've committed to the ANA, I want to make sure that I hand that off at some point. So obviously the residents that are listening, this is a great program, but also the CRNAs that are listening, I think it's good to slip in here kind of in the middle of this, that there are these mentor opportunities, and you really grow your network as a CRNA, not only amongst one another, but also through you all. You talked about meeting the people. These are the people, you mentioned the RN from California. You will see her for the next 20 years at these meetings. And so what a great way to do that.
Yeah, we actually exchanged numbers, and I told her, if she had any other questions or needed anything or any advice, then, I'd be here for her. And I'm anxious to see her, progress. UC Davis, I think, is where she'll probably go, or trying to go, desiring to go. But I'm excited to just watch her career evolve as well.
Maybe that program director is listening, by the way.
and Greg, to your point, as a first-year student, if I can make a plug here, the mentor program is a very serious opportunity. It's a great opportunity. It's taken seriously, and I'm glad that I did it. And I really, as a first-year student, would encourage all program directors to try to get a couple students here if possible.
And for me, I think I have a unique perspective in the fact that I'm in a brand new program. And so I'm in the first cohort, and it's been great to have this mentorship program because we don't have seniors in our cohort to mentor us. So it's nice to have that external network of mentors throughout the AANA.
There's a lot of programs in that position. A lot of newer programs. We're now up to 156, I believe, and some in candidacy. So
yeah, great perspective, and really you're trailblazing for your program. You're setting a standard right off the bat, and I think that's probably in large part due to your faculty, and they deserve some credit for that, but also for you for stepping up and doing that. Being a first-year student in a brand new program comes with a unique set of challenges, and you've chosen to take those on, and also this. So very, very strong work.
It's been a lot of fun so far, and I can't thank the faculty enough. They're very supportive of their students, and it's been nothing but a positive experience so far. So thank you, Edgewood.
Would you recommend coming to mid-year for those who are applying to nurse anesthesia programs? We had, I believe, at this meeting nearly 200 in that category, RN, APRN members of the ANA. There was a fabulous meet and greet session for them. You noticed, John, I think this is probably the experience of all of our residents. You're like celebrities for them because they're like, wait, you did it. You got there. And we've talked about this a little bit, but, give me your perspective on the value of this meeting in particular for those who are applying to nurse anesthesia programs.
It was overwhelming for me. I expected 20, 30 people in that meeting, the RN, APRN meeting. So whenever I walked in and it was a standing room only, wall to wall, it was overwhelming. It's great that the AANA recognized the need for a session and an invitation and an opportunity. So yeah, I would definitely recommend anybody who is on the fence, thinking about, wondering about this as a career. It was great for them to learn more, gather more knowledge, and as I've seen with you walking around throughout the weekend, nurses coming up and picking your brain a little bit of what can I do, what can make me stronger, what could do this. So if you're serious, I highly recommend coming and joining in on one of these meetings.
And especially talking to the SRNAs, because we were in your shoes not that long ago. Like, we're less than a year into this. So, and for a lot of us, we can give you unique perspectives or tips with interviewing or things that we found that bettered our application or that were helpful as a going back to school. Because that's sometimes a big transition, especially if you've worked in the ICU for a couple of years. It's a little jarring sometimes to go back and sit in front of a textbook for 8 hours. So, yeah.
All right. Tell us, have there been any specific sessions, conversations, any other extras, things that really you might have missed if your mentor hadn't suggested them?
I think it was nice to have a mentor when we were had the presentations who has worked at a state level, because they understand the issues. And so sometimes they would just kind of add in supplemental material to help me understand the full picture of what was going on at the national level that maybe had been applicable at the state level of, oh, yes, we tried this in Michigan. And I think I had a broader grasp of what we were advocating for on a national level with having their experience being so politically active in the AANA and in their state organization.
Well, sometimes these meetings, too, in particular, and I can remember back to when I attended as a resident, there's language in these meetings and acronyms and things that people throw around that if you're not in the advocacy space, you don't understand. And you can't find those in your anesthesia textbooks. So it's good to have maybe somebody translate a little bit into exactly what does this mean and what are we trying to accomplish here.
I think for me, the PAC meeting and in hearing the success of CRNAs actually being elected into office, I mean, that takes the fight to a whole nother level of, instead of knocking on the door, like going in and sitting down at the table. Yeah. And so for me, that was really nice to see. And not only just CRNAs being elected, but the grassroots effort of the PAC and, local PACs helping getting people elected as, into the Senate and at their state legislature. And so just, again, to our point earlier, just the importance of advocacy and just how far that can actually go, even as a CRNA.
It was very inspiring, I think. Wrapping around back to the background as a nurse and even as a CRNA, we did a lot of good in the world and we have a voice. And it was very inspiring to see it used and to see CRNAs advocating, not necessarily a better profession, but for our patients and for the future of our profession.
Absolutely. So we'll switch gears just a little bit. One of the upcoming pieces of this meeting is the direct advocacy that our attendees will be doing to their legislators on the Hill and the rally. So that's coming. It's sometimes a bit intimidating. I don't know if either of you are going to get to participate in that part or not. But if you are, has the meeting so far prepared you for that? Do you feel like you're ready?
Yeah, I'm excited. I would say the day at the Capitol, at the Wisconsin State Capitol, I'd never met with legislatures before, and it was really cool. They are normal human beings who want to listen to you and want to hear about your issues and want to listen to their constituents. So I'm excited to meet our representatives on a national level, and I think it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, same. I actually, once we're done here, meeting up with my West Virginia coalition, going to lunch, and then we actually have a meeting at 2:30 this afternoon with Senator Jim Justice from West Virginia. So, and Baby Dog, I'm sure if anybody is aware of Baby Dog, his bulldog is the state mascot.
Oh,
and
perfect.
So, he actually has his own chair in Senator Justice's office. So that's our first meeting, and then tomorrow we have, I think, 3 other meetings. So I'm excited, and to answer your question directly, I do believe this has prepared me for it. Fortunately, from coming from out of the state meeting, we had kind of an idea of what the focus and the issues are that are probably high on the radar right now for the AANA. But this has helped really, this meeting has helped solidify that and really prepare us for the conversations that really need to take place. And, the important part is that, they're relying on us for honest fact, truth. And so hopefully that's what we're able to project tomorrow and intend to. That way they can be educated, because I think it's easy to, whenever you're immersed in anesthesia and CRNA and SRNA and all things anesthesia, it's easy to lose sight of the fact that these folks really don't know what we do on a day-to-day level. And it's kind of our responsibility to be sure that they do, and it's factual, and that it's that we're going to be a good advocate for them and a good resource for them to say, hey, I've got a CRNA issue. Who can I call? Oh, yeah, what about John? or Justin or whoever, Preston, whoever from the West Virginia team, who can we call to get some insight on what we need to do here? So I'm excited for it. Don't hate it. Actually love the process and the advocacy part of it and getting to talk with them. And yeah, so I'm excited.
That's fantastic. That's one of the goals. We hope that you're really ready to go. It can be intimidating, but we want everybody who goes there to do that, to realize this. Any of us can do this. You're just telling your story and thinking about it in a way that is strategic and making sure that you're getting those points across. So I'm eager to hear how that goes for you. I'll keep in touch with you, John, and see how that goes for you. And again, glad that you guys are both going to get to experience that.
Well, we mentioned yesterday, too, a lot of times if you're in a legislative office as a long practicing CRNA, maybe a little gray hair like I have, and I'm sitting with a resident, the legislative staff or sometimes the members themselves, they will listen to me, but they will many times turn to you guys because they know that my time has been served and that I have retirement in my windshield and you guys have a long way to go and this is meaningful to you. And so don't be surprised if you get a lot of questions directed to you tomorrow because of that. And I think that's important that you're here. I think the mentorship program sets that up perfectly. And obviously you two I can tell just by our conversation, you're very confident and prepared. And so take advantage of that tomorrow. Remember when you walk into those offices that you're representing the future of what we're talking about and that you're also a constituent of that member. They listen to you because of that, because your zip code fits into their district. And so that's important and make sure that you get to be part of the conversation. That would be my maybe tidbit of advice is make sure that you get to be part of that conversation.
That's an important point, Greg. During our meeting with Jonathan Martin yesterday, he kind of, brought that out. At the end of the day, voters still matter, and our voices still matter. And I think that's why it's important to me because I do understand that. And I do understand that they will really look to us and take it serious of what our issues are. So yeah, it's very important.
And a lot of people outside of healthcare don't always know what a CRNA is and our scope of practice and what benefit we can provide and what we do. So sometimes just walking in the door and explaining our role in the healthcare system. And so if they see that, they know what it is. Or if a bill comes up and it talks about the CRNAs, they're aware of us. So that's been a really great point as well.
One of the goals of this program, and I think they mentioned in the luncheon yesterday about the outcomes over the years of this program. It's a long-standing component of this and at times other meetings. But one of the things that we know over time is I believe they said between 70-75% of those who participate as mentees in this program go on then to become leaders in our association later. So you've met a lot of leader this week, whether it's just all the folks on the podcast or if it's other board members, state members. Has any of that sparked an interest in a particular leadership path that you might see yourself taking? And I hope it will be right out of school.
Please.
I mean, it sounds like they roped us. I don't, whatever the need is, I'm always want to balance family and work and everything else. But whatever the need is what I would be interested in feeling like whatever I bring to the table, wherever that fits into the puzzle, I'm open to. So I don't have a set goal of any type. I do believe that, like I've mentioned already, it's important to not only be involved with your state level and your PAC and everything, but to actually, go get in a legislator seat. So I don't know what that future might hold. At this point, we're worried about farm and A&P.
I get it. I get it.
But yeah, so whatever. I'm open to however I can help best support this career and profession is what I'll do.
Again, thank you, Wiana, for sponsoring me and sending me out here. And they have us very involved as the residents who came out here. So they created an ad hoc committee that we're already going to run after this event and continue to be involved in Wiana, both at a state level and at a national level. And I think it's just been so welcoming. It's not scary anymore. These people, they're very kind to you. They want to see you do well. They want to see your future success. So I think this has really lit a spark in me to participate at a state level. And it was very nice, too. I have ties to both Michigan and Wisconsin. And so my mentor was from Michigan and got to meet the Michigan board. So it's wonderful. I feel like very connected and ready to be an advocate when we're done with farm and anatomy and all. So.
Well, that's great. I think that one of the things you guys are realizing one of the things you guys are learning, whether you realize it or not, I should say, is most of our listeners to this podcast are educators. And my transition from clinical practice into education, one of the things I thought was interesting is I have a well-defined role, and that role has several buckets. And one of those buckets is teaching, one is advising. One big role is service. And I wish that every CRNA understood that service bucket should be part of the CRNA job description, and it's service back to the industry or service back into your CRNA community. And if you can always include that as part of your career, that service bucket, make sure that you're keeping that thing full with things to do. And John, you mentioned balancing family and balancing time. And you guys coming here, being in your programs right now, I'm sure you have finals next week.
I took one this morning.
Okay, wow.
I hope you rocked it. I
Nice.
have no doubt, but I
Nice.
hope you rocked it.
But what you're learning, I think, through this experience is that service bucket fits. I mean, if you can do this while you're in school, and Abby taking a final this morning, if you can manage that, then when you're working in the operating room every day and getting a pretty handsome paycheck for doing so, make sure you have room for that service bucket. And I think that's a big thing that the mentorship program does, is it shows you somebody as busy as Nikki can come in and still participate in this. And the service bucket should always be part of what we do. I think it's a way to not only give back, although sometimes that's a little bit cliche, but it's just a way to make sure that we're doing what's right for the profession. So kudos to you guys for already identifying that. And my suggestion is to make sure you're filling that thing up. Believe it or not, you have time. You have the ability to really break down that time and make it fit with family and make it fit with other things. A lot of times my family will travel with me on these things, and we get to go do fun things together. We're going to the World Congress of Nurse Anesthesia next week, that we're making a vacation out of it while still filling my service bucket. So I think that those are opportunities that the residents listening, I want you to confirm that you're getting the experience of that through this mentorship program.
It really does fit with whatever your current life and other responsibilities are. And again, you guys are a great example, shining example of it fits into your resident career. I mean, you can get it in there, and there are moments. There was a study hall at this meeting this year as well. I don't know if you guys took advantage of that, but we're well aware that all of our residents have studying and have classes going on. So that was something new that I saw. We are committed to making it fit for you, and that it will be, whatever piece of time you have, there's a way to put service into that time. And it's so important. So I think we'll start to wrap it up here. Let each of you, I would love it if you might give your little, for those residents who might be listening and are considering whether or not they would participate next year, give us your little elevator pitch for either this meeting or the mentorship program, or any other closing thoughts you might have to share with that audience.
It is only going to benefit you. There is no downside to this. Put yourself out there, get involved both at a state and national level, and having that mentor just accelerates that involvement. And I think I undervalued the networking aspect of this meeting. That was one thing that surprised me is, like we said, it's a small community. Everyone knows everyone. And usually these mentors are very, very well tied in. And so it can only help you. The more contacts you have, meet more people, have more friends, it can only benefit you. And I would say 100% do it. You feel very supported, and you never know when you're going to need that contact. And they're here to help you. And it's a lifelong relationship is what my mentor Jody kept saying. Is she's like, I am here for you throughout school, after practice, and you have an advocate in your corner. And that is just awesome.
It's a great opportunity. I would say, if anything, don't be intimidated. Just do it. My wife even mentioned, like last week, she said, let me get this straight. You have 2 finals before you leave, and then 3 after you get back, right? I was like, yeah. She said, you're crazy. But as I told Nikki the other day, I could tell her I was going to go jump off the bridge, and she'd say, well, that's probably not a good idea, but we'll come watch. So she's always very supportive. But I'd say, I came into this probably feeling a little intimidated, especially being in take outside the fact that you're trying to figure out how to balance the study. It works out. Just come, just do it. Highly recommend it to anybody that has the opportunity. The mentor program is on point. I'm really glad I did it, although I was kind of wondering leading up to getting here. Well, I don't know. After our first Zoom, Nikki, I think probably that I started, those feelings started going away a little bit. But just don't be intimidated. It's a big family. It's impressively welcoming to the first year residents, second year, any residents. So, yeah, I would highly recommend it and really appreciate being able to be here. I was actually nominated by Dr. Megan Orfanos, our program director, to come and be a part of this, and I appreciate it and hope to, well, I'm sure I'll see Abby here next year, but yeah, highly recommend.
Thanks to you both for spending some of your time with us here, as busy as you are. Congratulations on being nominated and being a part of that, and you're both, I'm sure, going to be fantastic ambassadors for that and for nice role models for your classmates. Go back and spread the word, tell your fellow residents, and thank you again for spending time, and great to be in the studio with you again, Greg.
Of course, Nikki. I should mention you're both going to be future mentors one day, so maybe we can do this again in a few years when you're on this side and you're in the mentor role instead of the mentee role. I will say this program always highlights to me that the future of our profession is bright and it's strong, and so thank you both for your time and effort in contributing to that.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hey everyone, big news! We've launched a brand new Beyond the Mask website, professionally redesigned to give you a better experience. It's easier to navigate, better organized, and makes it simple to find episodes, explore our exclusive series, and access helpful resources for CRNAs, including CE credits and the 1099 CRNA Institute. Check it out at beyondthemaskpodcast.com.